I'm Alicia and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be talking about different kinds of goal setting and like a method that I find is more conducive and it makes goals easier to stick to. In order to kind of show you guys how this method for me works, I'm going to be going through my personal New Year's resolutions goals for the first 4 categories of the Level 10 life. So last week we talked about what is a Level 10 life. I introduced my 8 categories and we did kind of a first reflection to see where we're starting from, where we want to improve, and how we want to set our goals in order to kind of track our progress and our growth as the year goes on. So today I'm going to be talking about the first 4 categories of mine, which are fitness, nutrition, learning, and environment. And I think these categories are the ones that are going to be a little bit easier to track, easier to set goals in, just because they're a little bit more objective. And next week I'll talk about the other 4 categories of mine, which are creativity, relationships, mental health, and personal development. And these ones I think are going to be a little bit harder to set objective goals in because they just tend to be more intuitive and subjective subjects. But today we're starting off with the easier ones, so if you guys want to do this with me, now is a great time to pause the video, grab your books, and we'll get started. So before I get into talking about my own personal goals, I want to kind of preface this with an explanation of the goal setting system that I really like to use. And basically what I do is, instead of focusing on the end result that I want to achieve, I try to focus on the actions I'm going to take that will eventually lead me to reaching that goal. So what I mean by this is I try to set a goal that states what actions I'm going to take rather than what effect I think they're going to have on me, because the actions that you do are really the only thing that is completely within your control. So you can't really control how those actions are going to impact you, but you know based on like what those actions are that they're going to have a positive effect, or that they're going to be conducive and helpful to what you're trying to do. So to try to make this make a little bit more sense, I'm going to go through my own New Year's resolutions for this year and kind of show you what I mean with some examples. So the first goal that I want to talk about today is my first fitness goal, and that for this year is I want to complete a 4-week-long plyometrics program. So as you can see, this is an action I want to take. It's not something I want to become. If I were to change this into a result goal, it would be I want to jump higher. And while that's a good thing to work towards, it doesn't really tell you how you're going to achieve it, and you can't control how training is going to affect you specifically. But you know that by training, you're going to become better at this. So by setting my goal as the action that I want to complete, I'm making sure that my goal is something that is within my control, and it is something that is super specific, so I don't have to wonder how am I going to jump higher, because I've literally set the goal that tells myself what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. My other fitness goal this year is just to work back up on the time I spend training my taekwondo, because it's something that I really enjoy and I haven't been doing as much since moving. So I'm hoping to just work my schedule slowly back up to doing as much as I used to do, even as I'm practicing more often on my own now. This one, honestly, I don't even think I have a result goal. It's just something that I really enjoy doing and I want to do more of it. So with this one, it's really just an action that I want to do, a habit of consistency that I want to build. Alright, next category is nutrition, and first of all, I want to preface this section by saying I am not a nutritionist and I don't have any professional training, so I am only speaking from my own personal experience. That being said, I think it's really important to be careful if you decide to set nutritional goals, and actually this goes for fitness goals as well, but it's important to be careful that your goals are truly healthy and that they won't spiral into something extreme and harmful to your mental or physical well-being. So just check in with yourself that your goals are really about taking care of your health and not about your aesthetic or what other people will think of you. Just be mindful and kind with yourself if you decide to set these kinds of goals. And so I know before I was just talking about setting goals that are specific and action oriented, but for me, this year nutrition is an exception to this, because I think restrictive rules with food are in the long run just counterproductive and do more harm than good. So rather than setting specific goals, I'm just going into this year with the intention of improving the overall quality of my diet, cultivating the habit of generally making healthy choices and eating things that fuel my body well, but still, of course, having some flexibility and fun. And I've also totally been seduced by the idea of mindful or intuitive eating, so that's something that I want to really practice and integrate into my daily life this year. My final nutrition goal this year is to make a slow transition to eating less meat in general, and eventually try to eat 7 or more meatless meals per week. So this is a goal that I'm trying to achieve more with a focus on the environment than on my own health. It's a transition I'm definitely going to take really slowly, maybe adding 1 at first and then a few more as the year goes on, because I know it's going to be a big change for me. And we're on category number 3, which is learning. And this is one of the categories where the idea of action goals has been the most helpful to me. So my first goal this year is just to get back to having a regular independent study schedule and to study more in general. So I've been tracking my study hours for January, and I'm thinking that I'll try to work up to 50 hours per month. Although this is a number that I'm going to be flexible with, and I will probably adjust it if it looks like I can do more as the year goes on. And so again, this is the kind of goal that I like to set because it's very similar to a plan of action. I know what I have to do, and if I implement that and stick to it, I'm going to see a ton of improvement in my target languages. And a side note, I do have individual goals in each of my target languages, but I'm not really planning on talking about them in any of these vlogs unless you guys are interested, so let me know in the comments, I guess. And then my other main goal within this category is to start using my commute time, which is all the time I spend in the bus and on the train every day, to learn. So I might study my Quizlets or listen to podcasts and stuff like that. So this one I think kind of falls into a third category of goals. So we have action goals and result goals. And this one is more like a habit-oriented goal. So it's a habit that I want to build. And it's just something that will become a regular part of my life. And of course, by building and practicing this habit, it's going to help me spend a lot more time working on my studies, and that's going to help me make a lot more progress in my target languages. Last but not least is environment. So this category has always been weirdly hard for me. I make goals about being organized every year, and although on the whole I've become better about them, I've never really been able to stick to them completely. So this year I'm just going to try to simplify my environment goals and focus 100% on the action, or rather the habit that I want to build. So I know that for me to stay organized, I really need to make a routine of just dedicating some time at the end of each day to clearing up. And I just need to keep practicing this, I think, until it becomes a habit, just a part of my daily routine, and I don't even think about doing it anymore. It's just something that I can do automatically. So that's about all I have today. I hope you guys found it helpful. I think action goals and habit goals, like I said, where you measure what you're doing instead of the end result or what you want to become. I think focusing on what I can control and what I can do definitely helps me a lot. And of course everybody's different, so if you have a different kind of goal setting method that you know works for you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. So next week, I'm going to be talking about my next 4 categories of the Level 10 life, which are the kind of more feely, subjective ones that are a little bit harder to measure and harder to set goals in, but we're gonna try, and hopefully we'll learn as we go. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully see you next week.